What's up, guys? I'm Tuck Ford, and this is the Tuck Ford Podcast. And we've got some affiliates to plug. That is Hillbilly Nation, and then your discount code is Paw Paw's Piss. We've got Fatty's sunglasses. I should have them on. It's a good day for sunglasses, and I'm not wearing them. But the 10% off plus free shipping discount code Paw Paw's Piss Bucket. We've got You Should Follow Teeth Dominant Hybrids, and of course check out tuckfordmerchstore.com. That is my merch store with me and pictures of myself. Today I've got a very special guest, Mr. Gage Caudill. Mr. Gage Caudill, is there anything you'd like to cover? Do you have something up in your head you want to talk about, or should I just talk about the fact that you are a photographer and a very serious one? You cover Appalachia and such?
That is basically kind of been this like ongoing pursuit that I've had. Like, I've always kind of had this reputation of hopping like hobbies, or it's almost like seemed like a phase, and I've always kind of told people it's part of a bigger picture. Not to make a pun out of that, that's awful.
Oh my God.
I need took out back and put down. Anyway.
Old Yeller treatment.
Yes.
Old Yeller fought all them goddamn hogs and ended up getting put down by a bat.
So it's like they all in a way kind of tie together, from my obsession with just like the forerunners to, climbing, just like a form of rope access. So it's, the photography market it's a very saturated field. There are a lot of photographers, and so you have to stand out. And the only way to take a picture that no one's taken before is to go somewhere someone hasn't. So you build a capable vehicle, and you're able to get yourself in elevation to get an angle that others can't get. So,
see, I'd say the rock climbing does go in well with that, because you can access places and show people something that ain't been seen by nobody in a minute.
That's
brings a whole new meaning to get the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know, but then there's also that other side of me that loves to take pictures back home, and there are a lot of really great photographers that have over the years documented, Appalachia and the region, and especially, being in eastern Kentucky. There was I wish I knew who the poem was written by, because I would absolutely, give them the credit. But it was basically talking about being from a place where it's not all bourbon and horses. It's called The Hard Part is the name of the poem, though, so someone could Google that.
Yeah, I'm sure we could figure out how to get that.
Basically saying from the hard part of Kentucky. So, my life, I had this privilege of, in a way, being split between two households, where it was being raised by a school teacher grandmother, and then, going and to another place where it was hunting and a lot of foraging. One side of my family didn't get city water hooked up until maybe 4 years ago. So I was still every time the coal company would set off a blast, it would send sulfur into our water and clog up the filter. So there I'm pulling the water filter out of the well. So it's we had well water, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that the levels of poverty in Appalachia are what is normal to people living there is unfathomable to other people. So that's where I get into this, it's kind of it's an ethical dilemma, where poverty photographs very well. I'll put that. You can make it black and white, and it's so easy. It
tugs at heartstrings.
There is grit, there's emotion, it's all there. So being from there and being a photographer, I have to find this line between creating art, documenting where I'm from and the changes over time, and to do my best to not exploit my neighbors, because there's a word for it. It's called poverty porn, and a lot of photographers they seek it out because it is easy. But that's that's the basic conundrum of it. It's like,
Yeah.
that's such a good shot. Sometimes you don't even take it because it just feels wrong, you know, like. So essentially what I would like to do at some point, and it's been this ongoing dream, is to do some sort of like, you know, everybody says they want to help their hometown, you know, like, and I've had some ideas, you know, like I recently wrote down, it was this morel season, I was like standing on the side of this like big hillside, pretty steep incline, and I'm on my phone like typing out this mission statement almost for this idea that I had. It was like humanizing hillbillies, and that's something that, you know, I would like to actually at some point get off the ground. And it's basically just doing like cleaning up the creeks and the trails, like, because you can go into certain parts of eastern Kentucky and there's so much trash on the sides of the roads and the creeks that, I mean, it's awful. I watch the fish in the creeks. Like I grew up fishing in the creeks, and then they went away. Like the same, you know, our ecosystems have been like changing heavily. Yeah, it's so there's a whole, you know, nice little salad of things that I'm like trying to do, and also like trying to avoid. It's, you know, but at the end of the day, I just try and like have respect and remember that, you know, that's where I'm from. I am Appalachia, you know.
Yeah, so you're like really passionate about this from multiple angles and for various motivations, you know. You all right, everybody wants to help their hometown. There's a lot of shit I'd love to fucking do. And man, it was really profound what you were saying about poverty, photographing well, and how you don't really want to throw them under the bus.
No, like who wants to see themselves, see someone else making money off of
how poor they are?
Yeah, it's like you're showing me in like, you know, what some would consider rock bottom. And here's the thing though, some people are happier than a pig in shit, you know? And that's, you know, that's the beauty in it, is that the people have become so hardened that, you know, they find happiness and joy in the most simple things.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and that's truly, I think it goes back to like the way the human brain's wired, because, you know, when our brain is somewhere, we're registering an environment, and, you know, in today's time,
Overstimulated, bro.
yeah,
We get overstimulated. This is some, like...
That's it. You know, so the way our dopamine system in our brain works, man, is we're supposed to find a bush of berries, and that's
chew on it for a couple of days.
That's supposed to be enough for days. You know, just that treat is enough to sustain us, you know.
And then the rest of the time, we probably just chilling. Like, we are designed to, like, make sure our basic needs are met. And then after that, I just don't understand how we got roped into having to work so much to make the money so that this potato can change hands 15 different times before it gets to me. And now you got to work so much, you got to earn so much, when really we're designed to put a fucking seed there. You know what I mean? The smart ones of us learned how to cultivate things, but we have to work so much just to provide for the other bullshit. TV shouldn't exist. This shouldn't exist. You know, the fact that we could...
Having to work to exist.
Existing shouldn't exist.
Like we're literally like almost exploiting ourselves to, you know, like for other entertainment. And it's, you know, like it's with any artist or musician though, like just saying like bleeding out on stage, you know, and like
but I've had that moral dilemma about, like, in my shit, a lot of the funniest stories are just the true, you know, just the true. It's how you explain something that was just kind of bizarre and funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't well, it's hard to write a good line of the story's got to be good, but you don't want to throw people under the bus. I try to manage that the best I can, but I'm sure I'll fuck it up sooner or later. But I ain't trying to shit on nobody.
Well, the thing is,
Some shit's just fucking funny.
sometimes though, man, if a video goes that far, people are gonna reach out to that person even.
Yeah. Well, I hope
And
little
it can- and it
chongas
can
don't
be-
get
and it
mad at
can
me for
change
telling them stories. I've had a couple of viral ones on TikTok.
Yeah,
Past a little bit about them chongas stories, but man, I ain't talked to him in a while. I think we just both kind of in a weird place in life. We kind of had a weird patch there, a little bit of a falling out, but I don't hate him. You know, it's one of them things. It's like, oh, buddy, I don't fucking hate him. You know, it's just like shit went ways that I wasn't super tickled about, but fuck, I can forgive, and I can also recognize where I've been wrong, you know, in the past. I miss that dude. He's just about a goofy goober. You know, I feel like that's where I was having a hard time in my life. And then he was kind of in some transitional periods in his life. And we just kind of butted heads. And I'm like, God damn it, that sucks, dude. Excuse my dude. Hashtag Lil Chongas. I went on vacation twice. 2 years in a row, and I got drunk and ended up in one of those paint your own, custom t-shirt places on the beach where they airbrush shit, and I done fucking stumbled in there drunk as shit and had his face put on a t-shirt and then Lil Chongas and made like a rapper. He's got earrings and shit. God. And it's just like pictures of him taking a shit on the toilet. Like on the back of one of them it says Gone Hoggin'.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man, I don't know, like, you know, your legal representation, but that'd make a hell of a t-shirt or a sticker.
Dude, it's so funny. It's so fucking funny. He was fucking drunk at home and sent me a picture of him just taking a shit on the toilet, and he's like, and so I had them put that on a fucking t-shirt, and then he's got like a chain that they airbrushed on, and then like bling bling, and then on the back it says Gone Hoggin', and it looks like it's on a plank, like a wooden plank that they airbrushed on there, and I can't remember the other one. But it was fucking, god damn, but that was just the kind of shit. Me and him are both like, we've got a very similar retardation going on. Like when we got to drinking, nobody was hanging with us. Like we'd get progressively wilder, less fucks given. Other people are getting scared, they're wanting to bail out, and they're starting to talk shit about how we're insane. And we're like, party. Fuck. I've had very few people have been able to keep up with my level of party in the past and just take it in stride. And I'm getting to a point in life where like I need to get a hold of that boy, but he's done about blocked everybody. So help me find Chongas. Oh, dude, I miss the Chongas being around, dude. Yeah, fuck, if we would drink beer and accomplish more shit around this motherfucker, like a lot of shit got done just because we were just fucking off drinking beer.
Oh yeah.
You know, he would help me with a lot of shit. I miss that shithead.
If I'm turning a wrench on that, even whenever like
you got an extra cigarette on you, bro? I ran out and I have not gotten to the store. We're gonna have to. Oh my god, fuck yes, tobacco. We'll go ahead. You're not turning a wrench on, well?
I was gonna say I don't turn a wrench on a vehicle without a beer, and even because I'd went through a point where I was drinking pretty heavily, and then like reached out to slow down and get a handle on it because I never have like truly wanted to just like completely never have a beer again. It's just I don't want to be drunk by noon,
all the days.
Yeah, so
it's 11:30 sitting at the gas station about to damn cry because they don't start selling beer till 12. Been there, brother.
Like, I mean,
been there.
It's and these days it's it's not as bad, but like I was doing something on that, and my family hadn't, they didn't know that I had like reintroduced beer into my life
and your diet.
And what they don't understand is I had consulted my professional people, and with their opinion and everything, it is okay, and that, that's kind of how I've been. But they're kind of like making a big deal out of it, and I'm just like, you realize like if I don't have this, I'll just burn it. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing keeping me from burning this vehicle right now.
He said, "I burn the whole goddamn car down. Tolerance is low."
Like,
What?
it's the only thing separates me from it, you know, because I will motherfucker that thing, like, from the time I open the toolbox until I'm done.
This piece of fucking shit.
Oh, that piece of shit,
Why did I buy you,
motherfucker.
you fucking whore?
Oh, God.
Dude, I used to make this argument when I worked at the tire stores and shit, when I was tire horning around in my younger years. They always say, the boss would kind of joke, but he'd say, treat the customers' cars. Like, treat it like you'd treat your own. It's what customers think
Yeah.
the standard should be.
Like,
You don't want that mechanic to treat it
No.
like his own shit.
All that video, that's like that video you made, man. I sent that to, I've sent that to all my mechanic buddies, and like everyone agreed. Like, and that's guys from like various demographics, dude. Everybody just like, you kind of right on that.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking, well, when I work on my own shit at home, if you really want me to treat it like I would treat my own, I want to be drunk. You know, when I'm working on my own shit, so I should be able to drink at work by that logic.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to get quality service done.
I just have this fine line, man, and call it ADHD.
Cross-threaded and properly torqued, but they're the same thing. You know, that's hillbilly Loctite. You just cross-thread that bitch in there and hit it with an impact, few good ugga-duggas.
Well,
It ain't coming out. If you
That's
can't
it.
get it out with a wrench, it ain't gonna fall out.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I am on that rig right there. I am a little particular. I do keep a torque wrench in there, but that's because some things just basically lower ball joints in them valve cover gaskets.
Well, and you also got something to whoop somebody's ass with.
Hey,
And it's fair. It's a torque wrench in a car. Your lawyer will thank you. If you keep a bat in your car for self-defense, also keep a glove. Because you was just there to play ball.
right,
You know,
right.
you got to have all the accessories.
I do have one of them. It's like a big, it's like a
Trigger.
mini bat, but it's got a taser on the end with a flashlight on it, and it was marketed towards truck drivers because truck drivers aren't allowed to have a firearm in their vehicle, but they're not allowed to have like, you know, billy clubs anymore, basically, or bats.
Shillelaghs.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite words.
Oh yeah.
Shillelagh. That just sounds like some shit that's just gonna fuck your day up. You know what a loaded stick is?
Loaded stick.
Yeah, they drill holes in the end and pour lead in it.
Sounds about right.
Dude, what the hell they made these
I've heard
fucking
of people
things?
doing that with like a baseball bat, like,
That makes sense.
and it's kind of like corking a bat, but just the opposite, adding weight. God, dude, just pouring lead in it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, they'd make these fucking things out of the roots of a specific tree, and then they'd slather them in butter and stuff them up the chimney. Make that wood get hard and dense as fuck. And then sometimes they'd put lead in it. And I bet that would just fuck shit up.
That's like them. I worked with a guy at Cabela's. He kept on his keychain. It's called a monkey fist. You ever seen them?
Oh, them little knots.
It's just like a lead ball with paracord wrapped around it. Like he just like whack that thing. He'd hit that desk, and I'm like, yeah, that right there caused man to have a bad day.
Yeah, I have him looking like that one old boy from The Walking Dead with his eyeball hanging out. Like that dude Kimbo fought, where he blowed his eye out the socket.
Yeah. Rip Kimbo and rip that same dude from The Walking Dead.
Dude, I'm pretty fucking ripped right now. I might need some water at some point. See, I got caught enough the mouth and eyes. I wish I had some eye drops. Wish I had my fatty sunglasses. I don't know where I left them.
Man gets a high, riding his donkey and fall off. Stoned off his ass. Like the Muffin Man, baked and have risen.
Would you help your Uncle Jack off a horse? Only if he tried to get off and couldn't. That's that punctuation, capitalization shit.
That is. I've heard one too many stories back home, man. People and their farm animals.
They be fucking them, dude.
I was mushrooming one year and, you know, hunting morels, and it was like, you know, some extended family from out of state, I guess, you know, come around, and boys passed away now, but, you know, we were in the side by side, and there's a horse, and I was about half lit, and I was like, well, you give me to break that thing right now. I'll get on it and ride it.
That motherfucker.
And he's like, son, when I was your age, I'd have been fucking that thing. He's like, you ain't a farmer unless you fucking your farm animals. He said, you couldn't get that donkey behavior. You goddamn go up and slather up a good knot in a tree. Everybody had a community tree.
Dominance.
We'd get drunk and go take turns on that tree.
Fuck it.
Like,
It reminds me of the whack-off sheds from yesteryear. You know, like you and your buddies have a clubhouse where you just, everybody go whack off. Fucking, we used to, Kyle, we're just going to say Kyle. Kyle had the fastest internet out of all of us. We'd go watch porn at his house when we were like 14.
Oh, dude.
Everybody else had dial-up.
So, like,
we'd all fucking go whack off in the bathroom one at a time. Just go, and everybody knew everybody was whacking on.
I was at my cousin's, dude, and you know I was a young buck, and they had a copy of Titanic on VHS.
Is there a titty on there?
Oh, you know.
I ain't seen that movie in a long time.
Oh, paint me like one of your French girls. You know.
Oh yeah.
So we're back there in that
burn
room,
that piece of cassette,
and we're like making sure making sure their parents and the family and everybody's busy in the living room. So we go in that back room. They had we're talking about big floor model, TV. Stick that VHS in there and fast forward and find the titties, and
hit pause.
Dude, as I'm like freaking out because I was basically like, I'd raised pretty deep in the church, and I was like, I'm going to go to hell if I look at these. And, I mean, it was right about that time that I was like, man, but them titties. And I started looking at them, and I just hear a chainsaw. And then the chainsaw comes through the window, and here comes a guy in like a full mechanic suit, dressed like Jason, and like chases us through the house. It was the boy's dad. It was around Halloween time, and he just planned on fucking with us anyway.
And now titties are up on the goddamn screen.
Yeah, so I'm like, from then on, I was just like, well, hell, fuck. Like, for years I was like, just scared to death to see a pair of titties. Something bad's gonna happen, like it's karma or something,
Apparently, when I was just a real little boy, like I was like still in diapers, I guess I got one of my first boners at the grocery store, and I just dropped trowel, and I said, my pee-pee, my pee-pee. And I pointed at this little old lady who did not find it funny.
Oh, God.
I was like 2, I don't remember it, but I've been told about this.
Yeah.
My little boner just pointed at this old lady. I was scared, bro. Oh, this is a true story. This really fucking happened. I remember this. So when I was a real little kid, I was, why is my pee-pee doing that, So I asked my mom, and my mom said it happens to boys when they get excited. And then on Christmas Eve, I was all confused why I didn't have no boner. Because I was so excited because Santa was coming, man. And that was, that's just that.
I mean, there goes Christmas.
I didn't get a Christmas.
Santa, what's wrong?
I didn't get a Christmas boner. And I was concerned. I was like, no shit, bro. Like, I know I'm excited. Mom said.
Right.
Fast forward 30 years later, I still don't know what real excitement is.
I started hitting puberty before everybody else did in my class. In like 6th grade, I had the first pimple, and it was fucking huge. Little bushes coming in and shit. And our teacher in 6th grade, it was like her first year out of college, and she had these bodacious titties, bro. And I couldn't, and like, I never got to talk as a kid. Like, nobody ever said, and then this. Nobody ever explained it to me. So I kind of had to figure this out just on the fly. I kept realizing I just wanted to squeeze her goddamn titties. There was something about them titties, and I don't know why. Her titties. I fucked up 6th grade because I was so distracted by them goddamn titties and the hormones. And
that was me in 5th grade, man.
Fucking playing with my wiener.
I had a very pretty teacher who was actually like, she'd gotten pregnant like during our school year. And so, like, the woman gets a little engorged, be a pretty accurate term, but here's the thing, like me having the ADHD, man, I just wouldn't shut up talking to my buddies. They knew if they put me by myself, I was like scoring, like top of the class on stuff. Like I was, because my grandma was a teacher and she like made sure, So here I was getting all this extra attention, like she'd like lean over, man, and I was just like staring like right at the Great Tetons and just like, it was like puberty just dropped, like.
Yeah,
like,
your fucking
like,
balls dropped so hard you could hear it.
Oh, yeah. know, it's like, hey, can I go to the bathroom?
It sounds like watermelons falling on the floor. There they went.
Like,
Felt
Right.
so fucking hard, dude. And I've been cranking the hog ever since. Oh, man. That shit crazy. That shit crazy, but it be like that. It be like, it get physically uncomfortable. Dude, I could about whack off in a room and like nobody even notice. I was whacking it all the goddamn time.
playing a little pocket pool?
Fucking just feel like, you know, it didn't hardly take nothing to go off. You know, a fucking stiff breeze would have set me off.
Higher trigger.
Oh God, if I had actually been good with women and managed to score something at that point, dude, it would have goed off by just feeling the heat off of it. Just,
It's bad. Awful.
hell yeah, it would be like that sometimes. I'm gonna go grab my little vape. Tell me about these pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna say we.
I have a solo moment. I'm gonna piss.
I mean, I think it was that movie
Talk
War
about
Machine with Brad Pitt, where
Brad off
they
Pitler.
said men, if left to their own vices, all they really want to do is
Fight,
eat chicken
fucking
and
swap
play with
knives.
their dicks. You know, like, but I'll get into some of these pictures here. Might actually wipe some of the dust. I swear it's like the biome back home is near a desert with like a tropical rainforest just down over the hill, like in the valleys. Like, it's just saying back home where I live, it's like you gotta look straight up in the air to see the sky, you know, and just wedged between two mountains.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's basically the big gateway. It's kind of one, it's like, you know, small towns, you know, they'll usually have their celebrity, and our small town celebrity is actually Larry Flint.
Porno man. Wasn't he in a wheelchair?
After someone tried to assassinate him and paralyzed him. They made the movie Larry Flint versus America. It shows about it. But yeah, he I mean, that's pure irony, but I mean, it's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy where someone has kind of made it happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, rather than like that happening to him on his own, like some wackadoodle person, like we ain't having that, you know.
All that pussy at his dick died.
Yeah, basically. Which he had a woman, and I reckon, and I don't know, but yeah, man, he just lived right up the holler, you know. Like, and to this day, if you go
Passionate about titties.
so like, if you, to this day, if you're from back home and you go to any like hustler store or strip club and show them your ID, show them where you're from, like, you get a big monster discount.
Hell yeah.
Or used to. I don't know if that still holds true to this day, because there was a thing where I guess he wanted to fund us getting a new high school. And he said,
With
all I
titties.
want is basically like a 5x7 plaque that just said money donated by, and that's it. And they were just like, we don't want you pouring money. And then next thing you know, we've got like a brand new like football field, but it took like, what, 2 years for them to get school books? And then
Shit.
wonder why, or, you know, like, that's the thing, like, there's some really great educators in our area, like, but when it comes down to it, man, like, Eastern Kentucky produces music and artists.
It's culture.
That's it.
It's culture.
Yeah. Like,
Very rich in culture. I always thought that was the coolest shit about Eastern Kentucky.
yeah, when my grandma remarried, she married this guy. His name was Guy, actually, and he passed in an accident at Ashland Oil, and that's how my childhood was funded. There's any privilege I've got, that's pretty much what, you know, that's what done it, or else I'd have, you know, never stepped inside of a brick house. I'd have been in, you know, single wides my whole life. But, you know, his, I want to say like maybe nephew, or it's super close relation, is a well-known local artist His name was Tom Whitaker, and so I grew up kind of being, in some ways, his protege. Everyone said that, like, you're going to be the next Tom Whitaker, because he was known for wearing, like, he'd put on, like, some funky hat, and it'd have, like, a piece of ribbon on it that goes, like, all the way down to his feet almost, and, like, you know, just look like a vagrant half the time, and that was part of it. Like, you know, he was just a true artist, and, you know, just true Appalachian, and I always thought it was funny, you know, at the head of the holler, there's his cabin that he did all of his paintings in, and so I always referenced him as my Uncle Tom. So it's Uncle Tom's cabin. You know, don't put the bodies in the wishing well, or however that goes.
I don't know if I've ever read it.
There's that, and there's the song too. It's in the 80s, like hair band, you know.
I'm high as a bitch right now. Is where I don't know if you can see, but you could blindfold me with dental floss right now. But so yeah.
Hiring draft pussy.
God damn, it's bad. It's bad. Happens like that sometimes.
You have that on big jobs.
You will. You will. I'm glad you came in.
I did want to mention, because I had my brain locked up earlier.
It's
we were
happening
talking
to me right
about, it was like towards the beginning of the conversation, but we were talking about like how we should be like out just living in the woods, you know, a little more naturalistic. And it reminded me of this thing. I think I'd seen it on TikTok where someone, I don't know if it was like a study or just an idea that someone had, but it just resonated, dude. It was like people with ADHD, you know, or some sorts of like autism in that neurodivergent spectrum, they're not programmed for this like corporate society, this modern way that we live. And if you put them out into nature, dude, they function perfectly. And it's because that everyone says, oh, they have a squirrel brain, or they're like, you know, they can't pay attention to one thing. It's the brain's on a higher alert. It's more of a hunter-gatherer mindset. Like, I've actually wondered if there's like, you know, a link between having even like a higher percentage of like Neanderthal DNA, like, cause
I got that.
My family has a bit of that. Like higher.
That knot, do you have a knot on the back of your head? Big ass knot back here? Supposedly that's Neanderthal genetics. I got a fucking monster knot back there.
I know, I want to say on like 23andMe, mine was like 53% more, but then I've got like, I want to say he was like my great uncle, and his percentage is like 93% more people on 23andMe. Like, he has more Neanderthal DNA than 93% of people on there. And I'm like, how's that happen? You know,
is he a brick shit house?
I mean, he is, and he ran a funeral home. Like, I actually grew up in a funeral home. That was always weird.
I bet.
Oh yeah, like, oh yeah.
Let that fuck you up a little bit.
I never stood a fucking chance. It didn't matter whether that happened or not. I still never stood a fucking chance. But I mean, it definitely didn't help.
I could see how that could be a distraction.
Yeah, I ended up working there for a little while, like making like little slideshows and like, you know, putting some music to it and stuff. Like, I just remember there was one day there was somebody brought in. This person was like 103 or something that had passed away, and I swear they took pictures of that person with the first camera and every day since. Like, I mean, it was a stack of pictures, and I'm like, all right, so do you have them in order, like with their age? And they're like, no, we just got them all together. And I'm like, shit. So I'm having to go through the stack, dude, of just hundreds and hundreds of pictures of this person that I don't know. So like, it was rewarding and odd in its own ways, but like, you got to know a person.
Yeah.
You know, getting to kind of like look through all the pictures, and like, so here I am, you know, I'm just like trying to sort this person's, like, kind of get to know them to see, like, well, they look like they was about this age there, and like sort it all the way through, you know. And it was an interesting job there for a little while. It was just kind of more helping out with the family and stuff, but you know, yeah,
that shit
was
cray.
Interesting.
That shit cray.
It is cray. I don't know. I've had this thing where I feel like I'm exaggerating sometimes, or it may sound like it, and that's kind of this running joke is like, I wish I was exaggerating.
Yeah,
you know,
people.
Some of them stories are just
people will be like, oh, there ain't no way that all that shit happened to one person. It's just like, yes, it did. But, you know, I feel like you're probably like me in the way you've just lived a different path, like just constantly moving. So many people seem like they just sat in one spot for so many years.
No, which
You know,
I mostly stayed, you know, there back home.
I just
and-
mean like as
Yeah.
far as
yeah, like
don't let days get by you and
Gotcha.
shit.
Yeah. See, I've fallen into that trap, but usually there's like, you know, some sort of, I don't know, like shit going on up in the mind brain that's like,
Yeah.
we ain't getting out of bed today, you know. But that's been half the premise of like, you know, my photography and just the message behind it, because it's like even I guess I've noticed a trend in how when I post, I'll have certain posts that are just kind of, it almost feels like filler, but then like I'll really write something out, but I always wrap it up with the same like little like phrase, and I guess it's kind of like the quote, call it a motto, but it's just keep pushing, and that's the, you know, I always tack that on right then. It's just like, because I love to write as much as I love to take pictures or, you know, draw or whatever, you know, within that realm, and I always have some sort of a write-up, which is why I like that, you know, journalistic kind of documentarian approach to that. So, like a good example of what we were talking about earlier, when we were talking about trying to like not, you know, exploit, you know, like poverty or just people in general, just in the area, because, you know, there's, you know, back home you got people riding, you know, $40,000 side-by-sides, and then you've got people that are taking their daily driver, you know, Toyota Camry back on the hill and to half the same spots, and they're happier than pig and shit, you know, like having the time of their life, like, and that's, you know, again, happiness isn't, you know, like it's not a monetary thing, it's not material, it's more of a perception, you know, and a lot of it comes from gratitude and just, you know, appreciation. But the other day I was down like in the creek riding with a buddy, and he went on home, and I'm like, it's my usual like kind of routine. I'll come up and catch the sunset, take pictures of the sunset, you know, let my family know like, hey, here's where I'm at now, I'm back on top, I got service again. And I just like noticed that there was these people, like I seen these two dudes, and there's a tent, and there's two other people, and these two dudes on a Ford Ranger, dude, Ford fucking Ranger, and they're just like raising hell, and you can just see the silhouette of like a cowboy hat, and I'm like, these fuckers are having a good time. I was like, I don't know them. I was like, you know, I'm gonna ride up there and see who this is, you know, see if I know anybody, you know. And when I first pulled up, you know, I was a little nervous. I didn't know anybody, and, you know, here's these two like young bucks like stick their head in each of my front windows, man. It started making me a little nervous. They're like, oh, park over here, nobody's gonna hurt you, you know. It's like, that's exactly what somebody's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would expect somebody
but
to
then,
say if they were.
But then the dad is like sitting there, and he just, you know, chills a cucumber, dude, just, all right, boys, leave him alone. You know, I know you. I'm like, I think I recognize you. And we just got talking. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, it's cool. I'm safe. These are good people. Them boys are just drunk. That's all. They're drunk and excited.
Yeah, it happens.
And that's all it was, you know.
It does happen.
I ended up sitting around talking to them, dude. And I, you know, with my vehicle, you know, I pack everything to go camping about any time. So here I cut them up their firewood they had, and them boys was hungry, and I just happened to have all kinds of beanie weenies and honey buns, and we just pigging out, you know. And I ended up taking some pictures like of them, because one boy's like, let me get one of my truck, me and my truck, and the other boy's like, will you get one of me standing on top of it? And he had that cowboy hat on, and I was like, yes. So I'll pull this picture up for you, and we can put it up on the screen, I guess. This was one of my last pictures that I'd done. There's the people, actually. So that's them. That's the mom and dad. and they were super great, super nice. But let me get over
Got
here.
the cigarettes in the...
Oh, there it is. There's them pictures. Okay. Here's the ones from up top where the dude was standing up there. But
It's a Ford fucking Ranger.
oh yeah. So, and that boy, he was like dead set on being a cowboy one day.
Yeah.
Him and his stepbrother, they just about fist fought because I guess the stepbrother was real big into breaking horses and stuff. And we got to become like pretty good friends, man. Like just talking throughout the night. Like I actually hung out with him again since. Like first time ever meeting the dude. But yeah, there's the one that I ended up doing like a little write up and a post, kind of telling the story.
Hell yeah.
But you know, it's this thing of like, you know, that's that. It's again, it's just another balance of like being safe yourself, because back there, man, like you don't want to just like ride up on random people camping sometimes.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to run into. But then again, a lot of times if somebody's out there camping, probably just trying to have a good time,
Yeah.
you know, hoping somebody rides up. Like maybe they've got a beer, maybe they've got, you know, something to help elevate the mind a little bit,
Yeah.
you know. So it's that's just the whole thing with it. So I get asked a lot, like, hey, will you do like, you know, like will you take pictures of my wedding, or will you take like engagement photos? I can fuck with engagement photos a little bit, but beyond that, like, you know, people are wanting like family portraits or shots of themselves, and I'm like, listen, I think you really need to look through like my portraits and stuff first,
Yeah.
because it's gritty, you know. Like anyone, like I guess that's just the way I put it, is like I'm not gonna Photoshop your flaws or what you would consider your flaws.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you got a pencil,
Rough
it's gonna
cut.
be there. Exactly. And I'm actually, the way I process is probably gonna put a little more emphasis on it.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
But it's, I don't know, it just feels closer to reality. I try and do,
It's very vivid. I realize that it's almost realer than real.
that's what I was getting into, is the color behind the way I take pictures. Is I try and get it as close to the way I saw it as possible, because a raw photo is essentially the same thing as a negative, and when you're processing a photo on digitally, the same sliders, all them steps that you're doing is essentially just it's the same thing that you would do analog, you know, pouring your fluids and everything to get into film, which is where I'm hoping to go soon, is large format film. And I'd like to start even like maybe printing on site,
That'd be cool.
and then it'd just be kind of one-offs, you know, see how large of a printer I can haul around in a way. But, and that's what people don't even realize is so like a lot of people don't know that, like with cameras, like, you know, I have one it's a little older now, but it's 42 megapixels, whereas a large format like film photo, I mean, if you have the appropriate scanner, you're looking at like 250, 300 megapixels, because it's analog. It's not, you know, it's not a digital recreation. It is, you're capturing that light and causing a chemical reaction on that film.
That makes sense.
That's the beauty of film. I grew up in a dark room, like hanging out in a dark room, but, you know, I started on film truthfully, but it was, you know, like the last, you know, days of film, kind of like point and shoot, you know, cameras like that. But eventually I'm gonna be shooting on some film. I've got some cameras put away.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. So, are you going to be pursuing more like money-making film opportunities, or anything we can plug here? Like, hey, if
So-
you want this sort of, check his shit out.
I do currently have a website.
Hell yeah.
It's gagecaudill.com.
And then,
Straight to the point.
Yeah, you can do the
Yeah, just gagecaudill.com. It's like super simple to order prints. I sell everything from, I go through it's supposed to be the best photo lab, like it's one of the best, if not the best in the nation. So it's Bay Photo. And they essentially, you can get printed on metal, canvas, Now, some pictures I won't offer these in-between sizes. So a lot of cameras, they have what's called a crop sensor. So your standard film is 35 millimeter, which is full frame. So those cameras are full frame cameras. So they're going to be a little higher resolution. You just have a bigger sensor, bigger piece of film. But most of your, consumer, like a little higher end, consumer ones are still going to be your APS-C crop sensor. There's a few different sensor sizes, but those are your two main ones. That got so popular with digital that whenever you go out to buy a frame, most of your just commercial retailers are only selling crop sensor sizes. So when someone's trying to buy my picture, they'll crop it, and when you crop the image, it completely...
It's not the same image.
No, because I, aligned it or already cropped it myself to put it...
That makes sense.
Like...
Yeah, it's like, it wouldn't be correct.
Yeah. It's, so you end up with just a different ratio, and it's a aspect ratio, I believe, be the proper term. But anyway, yeah, they will send that. That's just a heads up for anyone. It's like, hey, you're better off to just get it as is. Maybe order the frame from somewhere, or get one from a place that's more of an art shop or something that
Hobby Lobby,
or even go to a thrift store, like a local thrift store, hunt around frames and try and find one that matches the measurements.
That makes sense.
Which is essentially what I'd like to start doing, making my own prints and framing them and selling them that way. I need to start setting up at festivals and stuff, and I've been, like, current, like, photo count on here as of right now is 62,682.
Shit.
And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I've been shooting more than I've been trying to sell anything, and it's this, I don't know what you'd call it, like, I hate money. I do. I want it, and I need it, but I also despise it.
It as a concept.
Yeah, and I don't want it to create a large influence on my work either.
Yeah, no, I understand. I ain't seen that one.
That truck?
Yeah.
I don't either.
There's a lot of weird shit that goes on next door.
Square body. Like a dent side almost. Yeah.
We be peeping. We keep an eye on things.
Blinds.
Oh, I still be paranoid as a motherfucker. I'm 2.5 years clean, and I'm still paranoid as a motherfucker. I hear every fucking thing. I see every fucking thing. It gets miserable.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Almost getting overstimulated.
Chopper.
I just was gonna say it. I said.
Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swoop.
A lot of military
activity
goes on in this little stretch.
Heard that.
And I noticed a big increase in the amount of activity at night, literally right after Joe Biden became president. That was like right when I was pretty good about staying up at night.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, and they started taking different patterns. I mean, I was fucking tweaking. Yeah. They fucking, I was paying attention to every damn thing. And there was an influx.
Yeah.
How in the fuck are we supposed to do anything about this Israel-Palestine thing? What are we supposed to do? Like, why do we have to have our fucking hands in that at all? What are we supposed to accomplish as a nation that they just... You're not going to get them to get along. That's not going to happen. They hate each other from a religious perspective. They hate each other so much. Dude, I worked with a guy at S&S, and talking to him, getting to know him. His family came from Jerusalem, and when I was like, "Oh, Israel," he goes, takes a big hit off his damn Marlboro menthol light and goes, "Palestine." So they're never gonna get along. Like I'd imagine he's pretty heavily invested in what's going on over there right now. Just the way he answered.
Like
Palestine.
it's so messed up, man. I've seen a lot of like, you know, like when you grew up in the age of the internet. That, you know, I'm 31 now, so you know we grew up with computers, and I've seen things that, you know, pretty rough on there. And when that attack happened on I want to say it was like the 6th or whatever day that was. October 7th, is that it?
The big one just happened, yeah.
The one, at the music festival.
Yep.
And I had read some text messages, like, you know, that was posted in this like group that was like, you know, text messages between like a person that was there, and it was like, I was like, jeez. So like a day later, I get on there, and then what was being described in those text messages I was watching, and of all the videos I've seen online, like that one right there might have been like, I was about silent for about 2 days. Sure. And it was just like, you know, how do you feel about that when I've got a friend who's like, you know, I'm Palestinian and my family, you know, still lives over there. Her brother's missing. And then my other friend, who essentially, like, even just my most recent little road trip, like, one friend gave me tickets to go watch Billy Strings, and then, you know, her boss at her job had, you know, basically, he's from Israel, and had shown her, you know, like, all these, like, pictures and stuff. It's like, that's my neighbors laying there in the street, you know, with my friends. And then, you know, I'm talking to my other friend who's like, my brother's missing, and that's where people forget the human side of things, dude, where it's like, what's it all for, you know? And that's, I don't know, it's like, again, that self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, and that's why I tell like anyone to be wary of a church that is saying time's getting close, it's about to happen, this is the end times, because even if someone wants to go full biblical with it, it literally says no one will know. So if you're thinking it's the time,
it's not it.
That's not it.
That's not the one.
Well, so it's like, you know, and that's again like the closest thing to that, making it me think that it would be the end times. If I was, you know, on that train, it would be that, you know, it said that the church would become apostate, and there's your prime example of it, where it's, you know, it's this end of the world cult and not people trying to follow the teachings of an enlightened person, because the whole point of the whole thing is to become Christ-like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, sell all you have and give it to the poor. But people would rather argue about people's sexuality, when it's like, when was the last time you donated food?
Yeah.
You know, like, how much money cumulatively is taken up every Sunday in an offering plate? Why is there homelessness?
Yeah.
Why are there hungry people if there's that much money?
Dude, I'm starting to get hungry. We should make these eggs.
You wanna make? I'll fix them right here, right now.
Dude, I'm looking at that little piece of wood right there, and I'm thinking, let him cook. Literally.
Bring out a brand new pan. Grab this butter.
Oh yeah, and there's more eggs out front.
Just a second.
How long are we in?
57.
Hell yeah, so we're getting. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. All right, guys, this has been a pleasure. We're getting ready to hop off here and cook some eggs on this here fire. There'll probably be some content out of that. It's been phenomenal having you as a guest, Gage.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you
friggin'
having me
awesome.
over, man. The hospitality.
I had a good time, from what I could remember. I was drunk. I had been drinking.
You were having a good time when I got
felt
here.
no pain, but I do today. I punched something. I don't know what it was, but my wrist is fucking hurting me. I think it's that car. I think it's that Volvo. But let's get that Volvomino going. So the transmission's fine. Enough. I was surprised. But okay, so we've got tuckforwardmerchstore.com. We've got Teeth Dominant Hybrids. We've got Fatty's Sunglasses. Discount code Papa's Piss Bucket for 10% off plus free shipping. And then we have got Hillbilly Nation, really cool clothes, and that discount code is Papa's Piss. Is that 10%? 10%, yeah.
I do want to plug a musician friend of mine,
Plug
if
it.
that's okay.
Plug it in.
Or a couple. So on TikTok, he's finally starting to make TikToks. Dude is eventually going to put out an album. If enough people would actually like his stuff, because he's great. I have promoted him and like helped him write songs from when we first started playing music together. We were in a band together, and he has just like flourished into this just amazing vocalist. Dude's got a canary stuck in his throat.
Wow.
His name's John Tucker. Easy to remember. John Tucker Must Die. But
just
he absolutely, like anyone
there's going to
would,
be text.
hates that joke. Right. We'll and then
you ever seen Hope They Serve Beer in Hell? Sorry to segue. I'm still pretty high.
I don't know if I've actually watched that.
You need to watch that one, but keep going. Go ahead.
I also want to put my friend Tab Caudill out there. She's a Caudill, but we're not related as far as I know. But yeah, one of my best friends. But she is also phenomenal. Yeah, vocals, guitar, just wonderful musicians, all from back home, the hills of Eastern Kentucky. Like, and the other one I'll mention is Austin Reynolds and his band. Those guys are, I mean, they straight up like, it's like these eggs are going to be, man, make your tongue slap your brains out.
Oh, I'm so excited for them, dude.
They're
I don't know if that
man.
butter's still good.
They covered a lot of Skinner, but they also have their own original albums. They're great, man. He was in the Navy, he's a vet, and then their drummer was also a vet, and that's how they met. Came back here, we both realized, dude, they're from Bowling Green.
Really?
Yeah, that's where they live, or did, unless they moved. But they play shows and Western Kentucky a lot. They come to Eastern Kentucky because they come play back home, and they put on a hell of a show, man. Like, they're good.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, more people I can get to help my friends. Yeah. Hopefully they'll do the same for me. I like taking pictures of them guys, so I like to take pictures of them on bigger stages.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anything else you want to add? Or is that about it?
Well, I'd like to say, take it easy. And don't be too hard on it. If you're going to eat lasagna, don't get it on you.
Oh my God. If you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band.
That's right.
Well, some people say cucumbers taste better pickled.
Yeah. Don't play second fiddle.
All right. Thank you, guys. Signing off.